What is up, my aesthetic boys? It's Fresh, back with another video. Today we have an episode of Choosing Beggars, including maybe the beggiest yet. I hope you enjoy. For free? How will we make money? The exposure will get you noticed. That'll help you land paying gigs. Yeah, I mean, if you work free and for exposure now, then eventually you'll be big enough as a band, you'll be playing sold out arenas. Hell, you'll be playing the Super Bowl. They must pay a... Wait, actually, never mind. I saw a sign in the shop yesterday that said, "My prices are based on my talent, not your budget." I feel like everyone with a craft should have this sign. Barbers, photographers, makeup artists, tattoo artists, caterers, etc. And the crazy thing about this is that while it's true in a lot of ways, a lot of these same artists are the people who are willing to work with your budgets within reason. You asking them for free services isn't gonna get anyone anywhere. He didn't buy me enough gas. I'm a dispatcher for my local law enforcement. We cover several counties within my center, and this gem happened a couple months ago and still annoys me to this day. I had a caller that said she was stuck on the interstate as she ran out of gas and wanted someone to come out and help her. I told her that I could send a unit to her as soon as one was available, and they would help her as best they can. My unit gets out to her and offers to bring her to the closest gas station so she can buy a gas can and some gas, and then bring her back to her car. She tells him that's fine. So he brings her to the gas station, and when they get there, she tells him she has no money to buy any gas. Now, at this point, the unit can just tell her she needs to call a friend, family, or roadside assistance to help her buy gas because our units do not carry around gas and are not reimbursed if they purchase anyone gas. But this unit is particularly very nice, and so he bought her a gas can and filled it up out of his own pocket and drove her back to her car. About an hour or so later, the same woman calls back and says, "I'm stuck on the interstate again. I thought your unit would have given me at least enough gas to get home, but I still have 200 miles to go. He didn't buy me enough gas. Can you have him come back out to me so he can give me more gas, enough to get home this time?" I was shocked at the entitlement of this woman. I told her no, that I could not send that unit back out to her as she is now 2 counties away. I told her the only thing I could do for her would be to send her a unit that could get a tow truck to tow her vehicle off the interstate, which she would be responsible for the payment of. She told me, "I can't believe no one is going to help me. This is ridiculous. I thought the South was supposed to be friendly, but you won't even help me. Isn't it your responsibility to bring me gas if I run out?" I told her, "No. It's the driver's responsibility to make sure they have gas in their vehicle, and a unit already went above and beyond their responsibility by buying you gas the last time you ran out." She then called me a bad name and hung up. What kind of entitlement leads you to believe not only that the police, I guess, are responsible for giving you gas if you run out of gas, but then to call back to the police department and say, "Hey, yeah, about that gas, any chance I could get a little bit more of that?" I mean, seriously. Not only is that obviously a choosing beggar kind of thing to do, the police have actual situations to deal with, actual serious situations to respond to. They don't care about you running out of gas on the highway as long as you're safe. And honestly, you not wanting to pay for gas to drive 200 miles home does not count necessarily as a safety emergency. Just got your message. I can take in your pup if she still needs a home. Please don't put her in a shelter. Is she house trained? Okay with other dogs? She's 7 and female. Fine with dogs. Not fully trained cause still has accidents inside sometimes, but we're working on it. I need her out by the end of today cause I'm moving in with my mom tomorrow and she won't let me in if Luna's with me. Can you come pick her up today? I don't have a car. Oh, and I'm only asking $350 for adoption fee. I can give you all the stuff I bought for her, like crates and toys and doghouse and stuff, for an extra $100. I don't mind taking her since you said the alternative was putting her in a shelter. I'm not looking to buy a dog though. I don't really want or need another dog to care for, especially an older one who needs pricey prescriptions and will probably ruin my floors and furniture since she isn't house trained. I would only be taking her in as a favor to you. I spend way more than $450 on her and all her vet stuff and supplies. I'm taking a loss here. I just want some of it back if she's gonna be your dog now. I understand, and I'm always willing to pay adoption fees when I'm actively looking for a dog to rescue. I'm not doing that now, though. I already have 2 dogs, and I'm not looking for another or wanting another. I would only be taking her because you said otherwise you need to put her in a shelter. To be honest, that's just how adoptions work, though. You'd pay that much at a shelter, too. I'm not going to a shelter. I don't want another dog, especially not a 7-year-old sickly untrained mutt that's going to be a lot of work and is going to mess up my house. This is an inconvenience to me, honestly. I'm only offering to help because you said you were desperate and needed to put her in a shelter. If you don't take her and I need to put her in a shelter, she will probably be the first to be gassed since she's old and has health problems. Please just adopt her. It's not that much money and will save her life. Dude, you don't have to put her in a shelter. You can bring her here. I made that clear, but I'm not paying you anything. I think for my entree, I'll take a little bit of emotional manipulation with a side of extortion. Thank you. CB at my restaurant last night said she could make the same thing cheaper at home. I own a casual American restaurant. We're pretty popular with the locals in my small town, and we've recently seen a spike in out-of-town diners because a semi-famous Instagram chick gave me a ton of exposure. She also paid for her food, didn't even ask to be comped. One of these out-of-town visitors is the subject of today's story. So, last night at around 7, my daughter comes into my office and tells me that there's a woman at one of her tables who needs to speak to the owner. So I get out on the floor and I get to meet out-of-town lady, OOT, her husband, H, and their teenage son. Hi, I'm the owner. Your server told me you wanted to have a word with me. Is there a problem? H and T look down at the table and avoid eye contact. Out-of-town lady. I'm looking at the prices here, gestures at the menu, and this is just unacceptable. How can you justify these prices? Do you think this is New York City? For the record, the most expensive item on the menu is a $23 ribeye steak. Ma'am, I understand your concern, but these are the prices I need to set in order to make money. You're making too much money. These prices aren't fair. You want $7 for a chicken wrap? Chicken is $2 a pound. You're charging $7 for 50 cents worth of chicken. At this point, her face is starting to turn red. Ma'am, a lot more goes into the dish than just the chicken. I also have to pay for my cooks, my servers, the utilities I use to prepare the food, and the rent for this building. I bet I could make a chicken wrap just as good, she literally yelled those 3 words, for about $1. You're robbing people. Ma'am, if you want to go home and make your own dinner, that would make me very happy. I don't want your money and I don't want you in my establishment any longer. We drove 2 damned hours. You will serve us. Husband, honey, no, I'm not putting up with this. I want the chicken wrap and I want it for $3. Teenager gets up and walks out of the restaurant. Husband now speaking to me. I'm sorry, there's no reasoning with her when she's in a mood. Am I getting my chicken wrap or not? Ma'am, I've asked you politely to leave. You're not welcome here. Your husband and son can eat if they want, but you have to leave. I'm going to give you a few minutes to compose yourself, and then I'm calling the sheriff if you're still here. I walked into the back and watched through the cameras as her husband led her out of the restaurant. I'm really glad that lady didn't make me call the cops on her. Last time I had to call them, someone got tased. OP, you're gonna tease us with a story juicier than your chicken wrap by saying that someone got tased and then not tell us, oh, look at that, OP made an edit. Edit, by popular demand, the taser story. I had to fire a server smack dab in the middle of our rush. She referred to my daughter using a racial slur, and she refused to leave, so I called the cops to have her removed. The one cop left his partner alone with her to come give me an update on the situation. While that cop was talking to me, she slapped the other cop and he tased her in front of all of my customers. I comped 42 meals that night out of 100 total covers. So, a girl, the server, got hurt, my daughter got called a slur, and I had to give up almost half my profit for the day. Overall, a pretty bad day. Man, I'll tell you, The stories about some restaurant customers never cease to amaze me, but somehow I always find them incredibly believable. People can be pretty horrible sometimes. Okay, so he's selling an i5 4690K GTX 970 gaming computer with a list price of $560. Let's see what amazing and obviously reasonable offer he'll get. I'll give you $20. Lol. Huh? Why would you ever offer such an extreme lowball? It just seems like a waste of time. It's not a lowball. Please explain. Ain't worth $560. $100 at best, so opening offer of $20 is pretty good. These trade around $75. I'd go up to $60, but not a penny more. Here's the breakdown. The average price for each used part online is GPU $130, CPU is $90, motherboard $130, RAM is $70, cooler for $45, SSD is $50, hard drive is $30, case is $55, and PSU is $45. That's a total of $645, and I'm only asking for $560. So, not interested. Have a nice day. Well, I'd take a gander to say that the guy would probably entertain an offer in, the $450 to $500 range, but even the idea that $20 is a reasonable opening offer, quote-unquote, against a $100 product is kind of silly. I'm not sure if the guy trying to haggle is stupid or just trying to take advantage of someone who might not know everything about the product. Either way, he failed pretty abysmally. But I wanted the Disney clothes. I have 3 girls. My youngest are 3 years apart. My husband had an employee that says hi and smiles when she sees me. That is the extent of our relationship. Well, last week, she cornered me and explained that her daughter is a year younger than my middle child. Husband has pictures all over his desk, and she asked him. She asked if I had any hand-me-downs. I explained that I'm saving everything worth saving for my youngest. She pleaded and said she was going through a rough time and needed some clothes for her kid. So, of course, I went home and found some things. Now, today, husband brought in a brown grocery bag of clothes. She was absolutely appalled. She's been ranting and raving that our middle child wears Disney princess costumes and high-end clothes, and we gave her stuff, quote, fit for a hobo. It was to the point that she was distracting other employees on the phone, and the owner gave her a warning that if she didn't drop it, she could go home. She responded that she would drop that entitled female dog, so the owner fired her on the spot for the threat. I wasn't there, but we're very close with the owner, and he called me personally before my husband even had a chance to. Whoa. I know it doesn't matter, but I shop at Walmart for almost all the clothes I buy my kids. Anything fancier than Walmart is purchased from one of the grandmas, or the girls ask their dad. Sometimes stories in this subreddit could fit under the realm of asking beggars, picky askers, maybe even picky beggars, but this is quite literally someone begging for clothes that this woman is incredibly nice to give her any, since she's trying to save hand-me-downs for her youngest child, and then choosing what hand-me-down she's allowed, and after that, totally flips out, ends up getting fired from her job for threatening this woman. Oh my god. It doesn't really get much more choosing beggier than this. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. Be sure to subscribe for more daily Reddit content. Drop a like if you liked the video, and I will see you all tomorrow.